we had completed section 21. 21 subsection 1 spoke about impediment as in addition and substitution of the parties, uh, and uh, and it said that the parties will be deemed to be the part of the suit when they are made a party. But the court can the court can excuse that if you fulfill the conditions of the proviso, which are mistake in good faith. That due to mistake in good faith, you could not add the parties in the initial stage of the suit. So the court will uh, will make it in such a manner, will make an order in such a manner that the order will relate back. The substitution of the party will relate back to an earlier date, which can be prior to prescribed period. And then comes the savings clause, which was provided in section 21 subsection 2. Now saving saving clause, this section 21 subsection 2 saves three kinds of situations from the rigor of the main section, which is 21.1. वो तीन situations हैं: assignment and devolution and transposition. In such cases section 21.1 will not apply. So the moment 21.1 will not apply, it will mean that in such cases automatically the doctrine of relating back will apply. Automatically, you don't need to go through the proviso. Automatically, doctrine of relating back will apply because 21.1 does not apply. So the rule in 21.1 that a suit against a party who is impleaded will begin when he is made a party will not apply in such cases. Okay. Now there was this
Sir,
one.
so I have a doubt.
Yes.
Sir, so when we say that relating back will apply in 21 clause 2, sir, what is the date when this addition is related back to? Because the proviso says that it is on any earlier date, but subsection 2 does not mention
It will
any
be on
earlier
the
date.
date of institution of the suit, when the suit is instituted.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now one thing that there was this doubt which I could not entertain. I forgot to entertain that doubt. The doubt was that what if the application for impleadment, and I discussed about the difference between an order of impleadment and an order of proviso. There have to be two applications, one for the proviso, the one for impleadment. And I had also told you that the person is said to be made a party, is said to be a party when the application is filed. So impleadment is when the application is filed. And there was this one doubt wherein one of the students had said that what if the application is rejected? What if what if the application for impleadment is rejected, or the order is passed not in his favor, not in the favor of the person who is impleading the party? What will happen in that case? Will we still make the party uh, to be a part on the date of application? The answer to this is no, because he's not a party. The order itself, his application itself is rejected. उसका application ही reject हो गया, so relating back का सवाल ही नहीं आता. Clear है?
So, sir, he lost the opportunity to proceed with this, right?
Yeah, he lost the opportunity. Order of impleadment ही उसके against हुआ ना. पहला step क्या है? The first step is to secure an order of impleadment, and then the court will analyze whether this suit is barred by limitation or not. The suit against this party is barred by limitation, or in favor of this party is barred by limitation. Then the court will analyze. अब पहला step is order of impleadment. अब ये पहले step में fail हो गया, तो second step का तो सवाल ही नहीं उठता. We can't proceed to the second step itself. Implead ही नहीं हुआ तो आप कब कैसे बोलोगे कि what period will कौन सा date हम बोलेंगे कि ये implead हुआ है, जब implead ही नहीं हुआ एक बंदा.
Yes, sir.
समझ रहे? ऑर्डर ऑफ इम्प्लीडमेंट ही उसके अगेंस्ट किया, तो आप कैसे बोल सकते हो कि अब रिलेटिंग बैक होगा या डेट ऑफ एप्लीकेशन से माना जाएगा जब इम्प्लीड ही नहीं हुआ वो. इज दिस क्लियर?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now today we'll first start with section 22. थोड़े miscellaneous section है. We'll cover up. We'll wrap it up in 10 minutes or so, and then we'll go to acknowledgement. Section 22. Section 22 talks about continuing breach of contract and tort. Can you guys open section 22?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Are you guys on section 22?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Okay. So it says that in cases of continuing breach of contract or in cases of continuing tort, a fresh period of limitation begins to run at every moment of time during which the breach or tort, as the case may be, continues. So in the cases of continuing breach of contract or continuing breach of tort, in the cases of continuing breach of contract and in the cases of continuing breach of tort, the period will run the moment uh, the moment it is committed again. जैसे जैसे continuously commit होता जाएगा वैसे वैसे the period will run from that day itself. For instance, there is this fellow, he causes repeated nuisance. For instance, there is this say there is this fellow, there is this neighbor, he causes nuisance here, and then he causes nuisance here, and then he causes nuisance here. तो अब continuously हो रहा है. So the period of limitation will start from here, फिर यहाँ से और continue होते जाएगा, फिर यहाँ से भी continue होते जाएगा.
Sir, but earlier there was a principle like limitation is like a train. Once it starts, it does not stop. So how is this like coming that a fresh limitation begins every moment during which the breach or tort continues? I am
Yeah,
not understanding.
because these are continuing offenses and it is not stopping. No one is stopping. In fact, a fresh period of limitation is beginning. रुक कहाँ रहा है कुछ? Where is anything stopping? Is this clear?
Sir, in this case, if nuisance is created third time and the period of limitation is 3 years, a person files the suit within these 3 years. So, can he demand for the punishment for the nuisance caused earlier also?
Yeah, earlier also. वो continuing ही है ना? Continuing है. He can ask for cumulative damages also. वो continuing है ना? Same amount of nuisance है. ऐसा नहीं है कि these are not different nuisance. There are certain nuisance which are continuing. जैसे sorry, there are certain torts which are continuing. कुछ examples दे देता हूँ. So one such tort is nuisance. For example, you are troubling your neighbor again and again with the same amount of nuisance. वो continuing होते जा रहा है. For example, you are playing loud music and he is getting harassed. One day you played, second day again you played, third day again you played, and the fourth day he goes and files a complaint. So he will he'll seek damages for all the 4 days. Fine. And every day you commit, the period of limitation will begin from that day. ठीक है? It will get extended. मतलब आगे आगे बढ़ते जाएगा. Every day you commit, the period of limitation will begin from that day. And the second is negligence. Fine. And the third is trespass. These are few examples which are continuing in nature. For example, you commit a trespass again, फिर कल भी commit करते हो, फिर परसों भी commit करते हो. So it will keep on continuing. And the third example, in the cases of contract, there are two examples. For example, there is rent. से एक tenant ने 1 year का rent नहीं दिया, 1991 to 1992, and say this the payment of rent, the period of limitation is 3 years, and again from 1992 to 1993 he does not pay. So period of limitation फिर से यहाँ से 3 years हो जाएगा. It will continue from here onwards. यहाँ से ही शुरू हो जाएगा. Clear है?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So these are
Yes.
continuing breaches. ये continuing होते ही जा रहे हैं. So these they are based on this maxim which is known as D die in dime. Wait, I'll write it. D die in dime, which means day to day. Fine. Clear है?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now go to section 23. Are you guys on section 23?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So see, section 23 talks about a specific injury. If in case you want to remember the section, तो always attach one word to it. एक word को रखो, and you know, the best way to remember anything is uh, is giving it one word. So सारे sections को try to provide give it one word, तो easily remember हो जाएंगे. So section 23 is a case of specific injury. अब section 23 I'll read. In case
Yes, sir.
of a suit for compensation for an act which does not give a rise to a cause of action unless a specific injury actually results therefrom, the period of limitation shall be computed from the date uh, from the time when the injury results. So there are some torts in which are actionable, or the act which are actionable only when some specific injury is caused. Say for instance, best examples for those torts are nuisance and negligence. Fine. So in such cases, the period of limitation will start when the specific injury is caused. For instance, for instance, this thing happens. There is this clock tower, and government was given this. What is negligence? Negligence के ingredients क्या है? तो negligence के ingredients दो ही हैं. The first ingredient is that a person must have a duty to take care of a thing, and he breaches that duty. So there is this clock tower. Government was supposed to maintain it. Fine. And they did not maintain for the year say 1982, and they did not maintain it for the year 1983. Now negligence कब cause हुआ? 1982 में, 1983 में. But what happens in 1984? The clock tower गिर जाता है. It falls down, and it causes death of about 6 people. Now in this case, the specific injury was caused in 1984. So the period of limitation will start from 1984. This is clear?
Yes, sir.
So it is a case when actual damage was caused. When actual damage was caused, from that period itself, the period of limitation will start. ये सारे torts में नहीं होता, mind you, because in certain cases, yes, Priyanshi.
So sir, basically हमने जितना भी limitation में पढ़ा, it talks about कि जैसे ही the cause of suing या फिर prosecuting start होता है, तब period of limitation will start from there. Right?
Yeah.
So sir, ये specific section मतलब क्यों दिया गया? What's the reason behind it? क्योंकि basically limitation तो इसी बारे में बात करता है कि जैसे ही cause start हुआ, period of limitation will start. So why is this section is needed for a specific injury?
Yeah, absolutely. क्या होता है, सारे केसेस में ना ऐसा नहीं होता कि जब डैमेज कॉज हुआ तभी लिमिटेशन स्टार्ट करेगा. फॉर इंस्टेंस इन लिबिल, the period of limitation begins from the day when libel is published. If you open schedule में article, wait a sec. Yeah, 75, correct. If you open schedule में article 75. So it is in the cases of when the libel is published. अब इसमें ये नहीं बोल रहा limitation कि when the person's reputation is say demeaned, or the reputation comes to an end. So सारे torts एक जैसे नहीं है. That is the reason this section has been specifically worded in such a manner that in such tort where a specific injury is necessary, in such cases specific injury should be caused. ठीक है?
Yes sir, understood.
अब सेक्शन 24 ये हमने ऑलरेडी कर लिया है, बस एक चीज मुझे बतानी थी जो यूपी में कभी कभी आती है. सेक्शन 23 is applicable to contract as well. Wait a sec. In a suit for compensation for any act which does not give a rise to a cause of action unless some specific injury is caused. I'll have to check. To be honest, I'll have to check. I'll check and let you know. I'm not very sure that it is applicable to contracts as well. I'll have to check. Fine. Mostly it's applicable to torts. but I'll have to check whether it's applicable to contracts as well. I'm not sure. ठीक है? Should I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Section 24. Now, Section 24, all instruments shall, for the purpose of this act, be deemed to be made with reference to the Gregorian calendar. Now, see, Gregorian calendar, usually they ask you in UP and mostly in UP, not even in MP. MP में कभी ऐसा question नहीं देखा मैंने आज तक कि Gregorian calendar is named after which pope. So the answer is Pope Gregor 13. Fine. 1582. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we'll start with acknowledgement. Section 18 to 20. ठीक है? Can you guys open section 18? Can anyone read section 18 for me एक बार? Hello?
Sir, shall I proceed?
Yeah, sure, you can read.
Section 18, effect of acknowledgement in writing, clause 1, where before the expiration of the prescribed period for a suit or application in respect of any property or right, an acknowledgement of liability in respect of such property or right has been made in writing, signed by the party against whom such property or right is claimed, or by any person through whom he derives his title or liability, a fresh period of limitation shall be computed from the time when the acknowledgement was so signed. Clause 2, where
No,
the right...
that is it. Only clause 1. We'll be dealing with clause 1 first, then slowly chalte hain. What is the situation it is talking about? See, acknowledgement, for instance, there is say there is a suit. A has a cause of action here. A के favor में एक period of date of reckoning. This is the date of reckoning, right? And A has to file a suit against B for recovery of, say, 1 lakh rupees. Fine. Here somewhere, B says, B admits that he owes A 1 lakh rupees, and he gives a statement in writing, and which is signed and dated regarding this admission. ये admission लिखित रूप में signed and dated में वो देता है. Fine. In this case, what will happen? The period of limitation will extend. इधर से and say initial period of limitation 3 years था यहाँ पर A के पास, right? And he will get 3 more years. So क्या हुआ? Cause of action नया create नहीं हुआ. No new cause of action is created. It's just that जो old cause of action था, this cause of action is refreshed. Is this clear?
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
could you please explain it again?
Yeah. For instance, B owes A. B को पैसा देने हैं A को. Fine. A is looking forward to file a suit against B. और say period of limitation is 3 years. Fine. यहाँ पर cause of action B का A का arise होता है, because A is the one who is to receive the money. तो cause of action A के पास है, right? तो cause of action यहाँ पर A का arise होता है. And here somewhere what happens? B acknowledges as in he admits his liability. he बोलता है yes bro, I have to pay you 1 lakh. And ये acknowledgement he makes it in writing and in a signed form, and the same is dated. ये 3 चीजें हैं. It is in writing, it is signed, and it is dated. In such case, what will happen? Again, a fresh period of limitation will start, and A will get 3 more years.
Sir, what's the rationale?
Sir, but my doubt is...
Wait. Yes. Yes.
Sir, what is the rationale behind this fresh period of limitation starting
See,
from this acknowledgement?
basically the entire section is based on the doctrine of uh, the entire section is based on the doctrine of admission. Since B has admitted, so he will get a new limitation period. क्योंकि एडमिशन हो गया ना, यहाँ पर तो उसने पैसे दिए थे, एडमिशन हो गया, therefore a new period of limitation will start. Wait, Shreyash
Sir,
says yes.
सर सिंस बी ने एक्नॉलेज कर लिया है तो सर वो तो डिस्प्यूट ही खत्म हो गया, फिर लिमिटेशन पीरियड का गोल क्या है?
See, dispute नहीं
मतलब
खत्म हुआ. For example, यहाँ पर B मना कर देता है तो he will have to file a suit, right? It's just a safeguard, ना. He got 3 more years. उसने acknowledge किया. He didn't pay the amount. Are you understanding?
ओके सर,
For
अंडरस्टूड सर.
here somewhere he says, okay, I'm not paying. So what will he do? He'll have to file a suit. So this is a benefit granted to the to A because of rule of admission. Fine. Wait. Now, दो doubts हैं. पहले वो clear कर देता हूँ. Then I'll proceed. It has to be signed by A or B. It has to be signed by B, the one who is admitting. Komal says what all is included in property and right in this section. Wait, रुको. अब पहले तो the 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 most
Can you please explain rule of admission again?
yeah wait रुको रुको बताता हूँ सब एक साथ. ये तो मैंने ऐसे ही हिंट दिया था. अब सी, पहला तो acknowledgement has to be within the period of limitation, within the prescribed period. Meaning कि अगर फॉर एग्जाम्पल कोई एक्नॉलेजमेंट है, से जैसे अब कोमल ने बोला कि राइट टू प्रॉपर्टी का क्या सीन है कि इट द सेक्शन आल्सो हैज अ वर्ड राइट टू प्रॉपर्टी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल देयर इज दिस फेलो बी and he is in illegal possession of A's property. Fine. Here somewhere he admits that he is in illegal possession and he also admits that the title belongs to A. The period of limitation will again start. He'll get this acknowledgement. But what if such a thing happens कि ये जो admission है या acknowledgement है, ये prescribed period के बाद हो गया, यहाँ हो गया. In that case, section 18 will not apply. Fine. So section acknowledgement has to be within prescribed period. Fine. This is one point. And secondly, in every case, it will be written, signed, and dated. And it is broadly based upon the doctrine of admission. Since this fellow is admitting, so obviously the other party should receive some benefit. So the benefit will be of limitation, extension of limitation. ठीक है? If अभी एक और scam है, एक और scene है इसमें. Now read subsection 2. Now read subsection 2. Hello? Who was reading?
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Subsection 2, where the writing containing the acknowledgement is undated, oral evidence may be given of the time when it was signed, but subject to the provisions of the Indian Evidence Act, oral evidence of its content shall not be received.
Absolutely. So what this section is trying to say that if date is not given, for example, it is written and signed and date is not given. अभी date is an important aspect, right? उसी date से period of limitation वापस start होगा. अगर date नहीं है तो खेल खत्म. So if date is not given, then you can give oral evidence. Now मैं इसमें conflict बताता हूँ. Have you guys, okay, except the new batch, बाकी लोग तो evidence, you guys must have read section 91, right?
Yes, sir.
Now there is a conflict between section 91 and this section. Now ये थोड़ा आगे जाके we'll deal with it. Section 91 of the Evidence Act. Fine. Clear है अभी?
Yes, sir.
So what
Yes,
is
sir.
the effect of this subsection 2? Like oral evidence can be given of
Wait,
the
wait,
time, but
wait.
not of its content.
Wait. First you will have to understand section 91. उसके बाद ही मैं ये समझा सकता हूँ. दोनों भी समझाता हूँ. Wait. Let us. हाँ, पहले तो एक ब्रीफिंग दे देता हूँ मैं कि क्या चीजें हैं इसमें पूरे सेक्शन में. सेक्शन में फर्स्ट है, इट टॉक्स अबाउट एडमिशन. सो अब एडमिशन कैसी होगी? How stringent has to be the admission? So the section says that, see, section does not say that, but various judgments, वो मैं आगे बताता हूँ कौन से judgment. Various judgments have said that this admission can be express or implied. As in, you can infer the admission from the document itself. आप infer भी कर सकते हो admission document से. So it can be express or implied. Fine. There has to be an admission and it can be express or implied. That won't be an issue. And second point है कि it has to be within prescribed period. अगर prescribed period के बाहर है, then section 18 will not apply. And thirdly, you will have to prove document. जो document written, signed or dated है, in order to seek the benefit of acknowledgement, you will have to prove that document. Fine. And सबसे interesting बात है कि who is to admit? Admit कौन करेगा? अब read subsection 1. See.
Sir,
Who is to-
the party against whom such property or right is claimed will have to admit.
So the party who is not only that, or by any person through whom he derives his liability or title. Or by any person through whom he derives his title or liability. So the person liable will claim, जिसके अगेंस्ट आप सूट फाइल कर सकते हो, and his agent can also claim, his agent can also admit. ठीक है? अब सवाल यह है कि ये एडमिशन किसको होगा? अब who is to admit? We have covered who is to admit. We have covered. Now, to whom is to be admitted? किसको एडमिशन होना चाहिए? ये बताओ मुझे. एक बार सेक्शन पढ़ो सब लोग, एक बार ध्यान से. मतलब don't read it on the mic, read it to yourself and then you can answer. I'll give you 1 minute. Only subsection 1. हो गया? Are you guys ready with the answer?
Sir, I think it is acknowledgement in general in RAM. Like he's not just admitting to the court or to the person, but to everyone in general.
Okay.
Sir, to the person having cause of action.
Okay. You guys are right. To any person, whether he is a party or not, to any person. For instance, such a thing happens that a company admits its liability in a balance sheet. And the balance sheet is obviously written, signed and dated. So in that case, that will amount to be a valid acknowledgement. Are you guys understanding?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. अब ये पार्ट पे वापस आते हैं. See, ये पार्ट जमा नहीं, right? How can there be implied admission? Now, for this part, read explanation A. I'll read explanation A, then this part will be absolutely clear. Now, see, explanation A says that an acknowledgement may be sufficient, though it omits to specify the exact nature of property or right, or avers that the time for payment, delivery, performance, or enjoyment has not yet come, or is accompanied by a refusal to pay. delivery, perform, or permit to enjoy, or is coupled with a claim of set off, or is addressed to a person other than a person entitled to the property or right. So अब क्या क्या situations हो गए? पहला situation है कि this fellow omits to specify the exact nature. Fine, this is the first situation. वो exact nature of the property या payment or right provide नहीं करता. And बोलता he avers that the time for the payment delivery has not yet come. So avers that time for payment delivery or performance has not yet come. Has not yet come. अब third part देखो. Delivers, performs, or permit to and it is accompanied by refusal of to pay. Refusal to pay as in he admits the liability but he says that I won't pay, do what you want. And refusal to deliver and refusal to perform. ठीक है? And it is coupled with a claim of set off. And it is addressed to any other person. To any other person. Even in such cases, it will be a valid acknowledgement. Okay, is this clear?
Sir, there is like too much of information in this section. Sir, can you explain the essence of this section?
Okay. Wait. See, आप लोग कहाँ पर अटके हो? Subsection 1
Sir, explanation है sir.
The explanation A में the gist is that the gist has been provided in this case. आगे अब जो बता रहा हूँ उसमें gist provided है. And you don't have to remember all this also. सिर्फ ये part remember करना and ये part remember करना. बाकी सब तो common है. See, if a person is omits to specify exact nature, तो ठीक है. Then also it will amount to acknowledgement. If he avers that अभी तक time नहीं आया payment का, how am I supposed to pay? Then also it is acknowledgement. It will amount to acknowledgement. If he refuses to pay, then also it will amount to acknowledgement. साथ में बोलता है कि अरे even though I owe you 1,000 rupees, but you owe me 500. Set off डालता है, then also it will be acknowledgement. And it is addressed to any other person who is not entitled, then also it will amount to acknowledgement. These are 5 situations इस section में बताई गई हैं, but explanation में बताई गई हैं, but जो main gist है section का, that has been provided in this case. Yes.
So पहले omit to specify exact nature से कोई example दे सकते हैं?
See, for instance, there is this fellow. He says that A has a debt against B. Fine. B has to pay A. B को A को pay करना है. And say bill of exchange enter हुए है. And A is the payee. Right? And bill of exchange is worth rupees say 1 lakh. Say 1,25,000. Fine. Now what B acknowledges, B here acknowledges that around 1 lakh का bill of exchange हुआ है. Around 1 lakh का bill of exchange हुआ है. Now he is not he has omitted to specify the exact nature कि 1,25,000 का bill of exchange हुआ है and on so and so ऐसे हुआ है, but एक lump sum amount उसने provide कर दिया. Even though this lump sum amount is provided, then also the cause of action will refresh. Clear है?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us understand this case. फिर the explanation A will be clear. This case is Tilak Ram versus Nathu, 1966 Supreme Court. First इसमें पहले डायरेक्टली एक्सप्लेनेशन के बारे में नहीं प्रोवाइडेड है. पहले सेक्शन 18 सबसेक्शन 1 के बारे में प्रोवाइडेड है, एक्नॉलेजमेंट इन जनरल, कि व्हाट एक्नॉलेजमेंट इन जनरल मींस and what are the ingredients of acknowledgement. So the first thing is that in this case it was said that see, every acknowledgement has to be written, signed and dated. Fine, these three elements have to be there in every acknowledgement. Now what if the acknowledgement is undated? So in Tilaknaam the court held that see, you can give oral evidence to prove the date. You can give the oral evidence to prove the date. अब इस पर मत अटके रहो, मैं आगे ये एक अच्छे तरह to prove the date. ठीक है? And then see, the party, अब ये important point है. Party is not intended to prove that the other party, the acknowledger, the person who is acknowledging, that the person acknowledging intends to fulfill the liability. Fine. So the party is not intended to prove that the person acknowledging intends to fulfill the liability. Now what the party is intended to prove? That there is an implied suggestion of admitting the liability. Fine. This is clear. अब आगे क्या बोला था कि अब इन्फर कैसे करेंगे ये implied suggestion, ये आप इन्फर कैसे करोगे डॉक्यूमेंट्स में? So the court held the to infer this implied suggestion, you will have to read entire document. You will have to read entire document together, and then you will have to see whether there is an admission of liability, whether there is an admission of liability or not. Clear है?
No, sir.
No. Wait a sec.
No.
Wait. What part? वो पीछे वाला?
No, sir. This latter part की read the entire document वाला. This
Yeah. See, कुछ part of the document में he must have impliedly agreed to the liability, but in the later part उसने set off claim किया होगा, उसने बोला होगा मेरे पैसे भी रहते हैं तुम्हारे पास, या उसने deny किया होगा you haven't given me proper service, that is the reason I'm not paying you. So that is the reason you'll have to read the entire document and you will have to see whether there is an admission or not, admission of liability or not.
So, sir, this document, whether it is dated or not dated, right? Or it's undated.
हाँ, it ideally it has to be dated. If it is not dated, you can give the oral evidence. वो आगे आएगा, रुको. वो subsection 2 है, ये subsection 1 पे हैं हम अभी तक. ठीक है?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Now the burden of proof किसके ऊपर रहेगा to prove this document? See, the burden of proof to prove this document or prove this acknowledgement will be on the party who is claiming benefit. Fine, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now the Supreme Court again in this case, इसके बाद we are done with 21(1), फिर मैं 2 पे बता देता हूँ फटाफट. In this case, wait, इसका spelling I keep forgetting. Lakshmi Nathan, yes, Lakshmi Nathan, Cotton Mills versus Aluminium Corporation of India, 1971 Supreme Court. Fine. इस केस में the court said that see, it is not necessary that the party shall indicate the exact nature of liability. Not necessary to indicate the exact nature of liability. ठीक है? अब इंटेंशन टू हमें क्या देखना है we just have to see his intention to admit the liability, and the said intention may be express or it may be implied. Fine. Now अब कैसे कैसे construction देंगे, whether we will be strict or liberal? The court said that, see, in the such cases we'll have to be liberal, and we will make construction in favor of plaintiff. Fine. And इसी केस में बोला था कि acknowledgement does not create cause of action. It only refreshes it. Only refreshes it. Clear है?
Yes, sir.
अब आओ subsection 2 पे. Pranav, you can read subsection 2 now. You're clear with this?
Yes, sir. Subsection 2, where the writing containing the acknowledgement is undated, oral evidence may be given of the time when it was signed, but subject to the provision of Indian Evidence Act, oral evidence of its content shall not be received.
Okay. So see, section 91, what does it say? Give me a second. एक PPT है मेरे पास section 91 के related. Give me a second. Just give me a second. ठीक है? I'll try to find it. If I find it, well and good. Wait a sec. With respect to, here it is. इतना डिटेल में नहीं जाएंगे, सिर्फ ऊपर ऊपर से ही 21 देख लेंगे. Wait a sec. 91, sorry. Okay. This is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, what does 91 says, that if a matter is required by law to be documented, or if a matter is required by law to be in writing. Wait. ओहो, क्या हो गया? Give me a second. Okay. What 91 says, that if a matter is required by law to be in writing. See, अगर कोई भी matter required by law है to be in writing. So in this case, section 18 is the law, right? So what does section 18 says? Section 18 says that any acknowledgement has to be in writing. So section 91 says that if any matter is required by law to be in writing, so उसका oral evidence आप नहीं दे सकते. You will have to prove the document itself to prove its content. Fine. So document itself has to be proved if a matter is required by law to be in writing to prove its content. Right? Clear है अभी? ये समझा?
Yes, sir.
हाँ. तो that is what section 91 says. अब section 82 क्या बोलता है? Section 82 says that, see, section 18 subsection 2 says that, see, if the document is undated, then you can give oral evidence of the date, but not of content. अब section 91 बोलता है कि you can't give evidence of the terms of the contract if it is mandatorily required by law to be in writing. तो उसका आपको डॉक्यूमेंट ही देना पड़ेगा, आप ओरल एविडेंस नहीं दे सकते. और यहाँ पर ये बोल रहे हैं कि ओरल एविडेंस दे सकते हो डेट का, सिर्फ कंटेंट का तो नहीं दे सकते, डेट का ही दे सकते हो, कंटेंट का नहीं दे सकते, राइट? नाउ डोंट यू सी देयर इज अ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट बिटवीन बोथ ऑफ देम? Are you understanding the conflict?
Yes, sir. But
Yes,
sir,
sir.
yeah.
Yeah. See, ideally this conflict in this case, since 18.2 is a special provision.
Sir, can you explain where the conflict lies?
The conflict is that, see, what does 92 says? Section 92 says that if any matter is required by law to be in writing, then in such cases you will have to give the evidence of a document itself. You cannot give oral evidence to prove its terms. No oral evidence, right? And here what are we doing? In 18.2 we are saying that, see, if the document is undated, then you can give oral evidence. Are you understanding?
Sir, but 91 says that no evidence shall be given in proof to the terms of the contract or any other disposition of property. Sir, so it essentially says that if the law requires a document or anything to be produced in a written format, then evidence cannot be given of the terms of that contract or that particular thing. But here the acknowledgement itself is undated. We are not using the acknowledgement to say that there this is the particular date. The oral evidence is only regards to the time when it was signed, and the time of signing is per se not the term of the
Terms of the
contract or the
contract.
acknowledgement. So there is no conflict here only.
Absolutely, there is no conflict here. It appears that there is a conflict. In actuality, there is no conflict between both the sections. In fact, both the sections are in harmony to each other. यहाँ पर क्योंकि terms नहीं है, date is not the part of the terms of the contract. Therefore, even an undated contract, to prove the date, you can give oral evidence. And section 91 will not apply. And secondly, if you read the latter part of section 18.2, it says that to prove the contents, can you read the latter part of section 82? 18.2.
But subject to the provision of the Indian Evidence Act, oral evidence of its content shall not be received.
It says that content ka oral evidence you cannot give. So in fact, it is abiding by the principle laid down in section 91. Clear hai?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any doubts with regards to section 18? Okay.
Also, since Limitation Act is a special law, that will prevail, right?
Yeah, anyways that will prevail, but in this case there is not a conflict. This is not a case of conflict because section 91 applies to terms of contract, right? Terms of contract, grant or disposition. ठीक है? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Now see, एक और चीज है कि अब undated में क्या क्या चीजें आती हैं. Undated में if a date is, there is a typographical error in the date, that too will be included in undated. And if the date is not visible properly, that too will be included in undated. Fine. In such cases, you can give oral evidence. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. अब when we were starting this, एक starting में जब मैं एक बार वो कर रहा था, when I was narrating all the entire contents, तब someone had asked me that section 18 is somewhat similar to section 25 subsection 3 of
Contract Act.
Indian Contract Act. Now the answer to
Yes,
this is no. It is very different. The reason is that here the acknowledgement has to be within the period of limitation, prescribed period. And in 25(3), a contract is made for a time barred debt. जो debt time barred है, which is barred by limitation. You are understanding? And secondly, this is a new contract itself. And here there is no new contract, and here the liability is refreshed. Up, it's not like that the makers of this act did not think about it. They thought about it, and that is the reason. If you see 29, section 29, are you guys on section 29? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So civil clause.
Section 29 subsection 1 says that nothing in this act shall affect section 25 of the Indian Contract Act. So this act will not affect Indian Contract Act. ठीक है? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Now see, ये हो गया first means of what do you call it? Acknowledgement. See, पहला means है through writing, signed and dated. ये हो गया first means. The second means of acknowledgement is part payment. Part payment में क्या होता है? For instance, such a thing happens that say cause of action यहाँ arise होता है. See, and this fellow B owes A. B is to pay A 2 lakhs. Totally 2 lakhs pay करना है. And what does B do? B pays him 1 lakh here somewhere. And he tells, he gives a writing note of his payment. Now here he is giving a writing note of his payment, not an admission. ठीक है? Confuse मत हो ना. He is giving a writing note of his payment, and he dates that writing note. उसको dated कर देता है. Fine. Now अगर ये चीजें हुई, then it will be a case of part payment, acknowledgement through part payment, and the period of limitation again will refresh, or he will get 3 more years. A will get 3 more years. Clear है?
But sir, in case of absence of any receipt, then the period of limitation won't extend, right?
No. There has to be a document which is writing, signed, and date. फिर भी आप ठीक है. You have to. What matters is the date of payment.
Okay, so 3 ingredients will be applicable
Yeah.
here as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mainly writing and signed. Date तो क्योंकि date of payment से आप लेते हो. You will have to prove the date of payment. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Now एक और चीज हो जाती है कभी-कभी. What happens that, see, for instance, a person say here cause of action arises, and say B had to pay 2 lakhs, and he gave a check of say 1 lakh. He gave a check of say 1 lakh यहाँ पर. Now the question is, and he gives he also gives a this payment receipt. Now the question is, what will be the date of payment? जब check honor होता है, or when he gives the date on check? Are you guys understanding?
The date on check.
Yes, absolutely. The date on check. फिर से period of limitation refresh हो जाएगा. अब ये कुछ concepts हैं which थोड़ा detail में हम next class में करेंगे कल मतलब, and ये 19 and 20 we'll be done with, and then we'll be done with acknowledgement, which is the second last most technical area. उसके बाद तो एक है prescription, and then miscellaneous areas ही है. सेक्शन 15 एक रहता है हमारा, उसके बाद राइट आफ्टर प्रिस्क्रिप्शन सेक्शन 15 एक रहेगा हमारा, एंड 10 and 11 रहेंगे. नाउ इन दीज केसेस रीडिंग ऑफ द बेयर एक्ट will suffice the purpose, but थोड़ा अच्छे से पढ़ेंगे and then we'll get done with it.
Sir, can you please explain 19 in short? Because I lost the
Okay.
connection in between.
No problem. See, 19 provides for part payment, acknowledgement on the basis of part payment. For instance, here uh, B owes A money. B owes A 2 lakh. B को A को 2 लाख देने हैं. And B क्या करता है? B pays him here somewhere 1 lakh. और साथ में एक रिटन नोट साइन करके देता है. And this written note is with regards to the payment, right? This is not with regards to the acknowledgement of the liability. यही difference है 19 और 18 में. This is with regards to the payment. तो इस केस में क्या होता है? The period of limitation will again refresh. यहां से फिर से A को 3 साल मिलेंगे. क्लियर है?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Sir, what all will be included in the property or right?
एग्जॉस्टिव नहीं है ये. एग्जॉस्टिव नहीं है. अगर देखने जाओ तो आप स्केड्यूल में देख लो कि सारे प्रॉपर्टी और राइट में काफ़ी चीज़ें हो सकती हैं. ये चीज़ एग्जॉस्टिव नहीं है. सो एक लिस्ट नहीं बना सकते हम इनकी.
Okay, understood, sir. Thank you.
अंडरस्टूड. ठीक है. वी शुड एंड इट.